The School of Foreign Service has impacted the world largely through its graduates. I'd say the highlight of my career was my time at the World Bank, and certainly my time as Chief Financial Officer. It came at a very exciting time in the world of development economics and emerging markets. It was a time of great crisis. It was a time of great evolution of new financial instruments and new markets that led to some of the chaos and confusion. And it was also a time where the world made significant progress in fighting poverty around the globe, certainly with some involvement by the World Bank, but by many others. I could not have done anything in my career, I think, without the beginnings I had here at the Foreign Service School. I certainly wouldn't have directed my career in the way that I did had it not been for my introduction to development economics in a class in the Foreign Service School led by late Professor George Fixnans, who inspired me to believe that in a world where there was a lot of disillusionment around U.S. foreign policy, it was the time of Vietnam, it was the time of the Cold War, there were a lot of concerns about what people could do, and Professor Fixnans gave me the belief that we could really make a difference, and so I decided I was going to follow a career that would lead me to economic development. I chose my graduate education based on that. I had a good grounding in economics, but I also understood the policy dimensions of what stood behind markets. And I ended up working in a number of different places where there were financial crises. I felt my time at Georgetown gave me the self-confidence as well as the analytical tools. And not just from the classes I had in the Foreign Service School, but also from the fact that as a Georgetown student, I had to take 2 years of philosophy, including logic. And I needed to take a couple of years of theology. So I needed to have a sense of moral grounding. I needed the language skills to be able to operate in a global environment. And I needed all of the classes I took, within the Foreign Service School curriculum to make it in my career. So I really believe that my career, even though only the first job was planned, everything else was unplanned. Nothing could have happened without the beginning that I was fortunate enough to receive here at the Foreign Service School.